Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another case of ValWaters doing yet another podcast about a draft that happened a couple of days ago. I'm Valor, and I got Waters with me once again, my partner in crime.
Hello, everybody. Excited to discuss the draft.
So, so this previous Sunday, we finally had the draft occur after weeks of speculating. We have finally known what went down for that draft.
Yeah,
So, before we see the total list, I'm going to go through. I'm going to show once again the 3.0 mock of what we had. Let me zoom out for a little bit. No, furthermore. There. This is what we had for our mock before the whole draft occurred. But remember, this was before any bollocks trades occurred or
yeah,
anything else happened.
yeah. It was pretty impossible for us to know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah,
To realize, if you look at this mock, I realized that we only got most of the picks right. We actually got some of the players in the correct teams, but a wrong pick.
I'm seeing that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty
Hang on
impressive.
one
Anyways.
second. Can you take over talking? Got to talk to Mama Valor for a moment.
All right. Yeah. I mean, this was done before we knew anything about what was going to happen with first overall. Obviously. Just to quickly touch on first overall, I will say I am part of Minnesota, but I do think Minnesota could have gotten more value out of the deal. At the end of the day, it was just a free second round pick and we ended up getting the same guy, me, as we were going to get anyways. So it's not a huge deal. But yeah, we didn't know that. We didn't know about the Chicago trade yet. Well, we kind of knew a little bit. It had leaked a little bit, but we didn't know fully that that was confirmed. We didn't know that was confirmed yet. And there was a lot of really, really surprising picks. Montreal and Manhattan, we never ever knew what they were going to do. They were completely had their cards close to the chest, so it was really impossible to predict those two picks, and that's why those two picks ended up being very, very off what we thought was going to happen. For example, I'm a newbie ended up falling way, way further than we thought he would. Kind of an insane amount. He ended up going 30th to the Blizzard instead of 4th as we have him on the mock. I think we overestimated the Rage connection with Nui, but we also had zero information. We were kind of just grasping at straws on that, so it makes sense. Second went as we thought it would. I think we expected Juke to end up first after the trade. I knew that the trade was going to happen beforehand, a little bit beforehand, not like super, super far beforehand, but a little bit beforehand. So I knew that I was not going to go first, which I had told the server.
Okay, so I'm back. Sorry about that. I just had to speak with a brief call. Okay. Oh no, my dog's going berserk. Oh my goodness, everything is going wrong for me today. It's because of an Amazon truck and my dog's going berserk. So let's take a look at what the actual draft was. So here we go. As you can see, there were a lot of trades. So first, we had to tell you the tale about the first trade. 5th overall, got Seattle traded out of the draft to Edmonton, and then Edmonton used that to move up to number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly the details, but
Edmonton gave up like a huge haul to get 5th.
Edmonton gave like a king's ransom to Seattle for that. That included like 3 future first.
Yeah, something like that.
I think that's what it was. And then they gave another first, 2 to Minnesota to move
No,
up
there
to
was no.
one.
So the deal, as far as I can tell, the deal was just the S81 second. So I think Minnesota could have gotten more for that deal. If
I
I'm
pretty
honest.
much thought Minnesota probably needed to get a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because if I were a GM, I would have asked for like another first. Let's be honest.
Edmonton needed to move up there to get Juke. If they there was no way they were going to get Juke at 5, and
Yeah, no way.
Minnesota was
Juke was probably going number 3 potentially because at our mock we had Juke going 3. Juke ended up going number 1, which is to me is not surprising, as I had him as one of the sleeper picks to go number 1.
Yeah. But I expected Juke to go number 1 after the trade happened. But I guess I would have wanted Minnesota to get more if as a person now part of Minnesota. But at the same time, it's a free pick for our target didn't change. I was going to go first if they didn't trade it, and I went 5th. Nothing really changed on that front, so just a free pick basically. But
yeah, pretty much not surprising there. Number 2, we all pretty much saw this coming from a mile away. It was S Fresh going to Chicago.
Yeah.
That one was pretty much leaked, and that was one that nobody was surprised by.
No, that was known.
No brainer for Chicago there too. But then pick 3 comes around, and this is a surprise pick. This one, I was not expecting him to go there.
Yeah. This was very surprising to me. I remember seeing Sim had him at like 12 in his mock, and I had never even considered him a first rounder at that point. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then he ends up going number 3 overall. So
Because
first
apparently, I guess he must be different in the J locker room he's in.
Yeah, I think also he has some he was like intern, I think. I'm not sure.
J show intern? That sounds about
Something
right.
like that. So I think we might have underestimated his pedigree coming in. But congrats, GHAMs. Great work getting up the board.
Yeah. Number 4, this isn't one we thought was going to be someone else. I had a feeling this guy was going in the top 10. I put him in my top 10, but was not expecting him to go here at 4.
No, but at the same time, we had no information on 3 or 4, even until the end.
Yeah, Montreal did a very good job of keeping any leagues under the ropes for a long time.
Yeah, and 4 we had no idea. I mean, we're assuming Yeti because it seemed like he had connections to Manhattan. That ended up being a really, really big whiff because he went down like 30th, which is crazy.
Yeah,
I think that's
Yeti all the way fell to the second round. There was a lot of people that fell to the second round that I don't think should have.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, and then 5th overall, oh look, it's this bum.
Okay.
Pretty obvious who this guy was. Minnesota knew he was probably going to be available at 5 and rightfully got more value out of that.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I didn't really fully listen to this, but I heard Rich and Luke say something about maybe going too early. And I will say, I think I've been a lot more active this time around and proven that I deserve to go in the top 5, versus other players. So I don't think this is that crazy of a pick. I was going to go number 1 for a while. So
yeah.
I think this is a good pick for Minnesota if I say so myself.
Okay, yeah, that's not surprising. Also, Rich and Luke, I mean, it's probably just Rich, but I would say, you don't call Waters top 5. If you want to debate that, let me into your podcast because I will gladly debate you with some topics. I will gladly do so.
Thank you, Valor. Thank you. Appreciate
if you want both of us in there, we will come in. But I may or may not be considering launching a Spectre-specific podcast, but we'll get into that later. But pick number 6, HO actually yelled at me for that because I leaked the pick that the trade was going to occur.
It's interesting.
And Finn got my DMs and says, "Cut your crap, dude."
Yeah, I mean, Hamilton was not really hiding, well, they weren't like
Hamilton was not doing a good
pomegranate.
job hiding it, so it was pretty obvious that they were going to trade the pick.
Yeah, I
So,
don't think they
Finn,
found it at
I better
all.
say, it's not your fault about you yelling at me. It's more of Hamilton's fault for not keeping cover. And speaking of which, Halsey did step down a couple of days before we went live with this. So.
Yeah.
A lot of GM turnover this time around. We'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I expect Alex to take that over, and should do
Alex
very
is probably going to be the guy going forward. He's done a very good job in Japan, taking over for me, and has been my sim guy for a while. I knew he had it in him.
Mm-hmm.
So Chicago ended up taking Aileris, who is another person I knew was probably going in the top 10, but a little bit higher.
Yeah. Yeah. This is somebody that I didn't have going this high initially, but it really sounded like they had a lot more buzz than I thought they did, and they were pretty like slam dunk top 10. It felt like by the end of the draft, or by the draft came along.
Yeah, I agree with that. Pick number 7, that's a no-brainer pick. We all knew this was coming the moment we saw the board.
Yeah, we knew about this. This was pretty well known.
Yeah, this is pretty much a no-brainer here. Spurvine is definitely one of the best, one of Ace's right-hand people of their inner circle.
Mm-hmm. And then, this one was crazy.
Yeah. Pick 8. I've said I was high on this person, but I was not expecting them to go this high in the draft. Ara going number 8 to Edmonton.
HFFO proving that earning isn't the most important thing.
Earning is not everything. What you say in the locker room is everything.
Yeah, because I mean, there was probably 20, 25 max earners. Ara was not one of them. Obviously,
Ara's still like a high earner, but definitely a great pick in my opinion, locker room value wise. Oh, she's been earning a lot more recently too, so I definitely think this is a perfect fit for her.
She basically only missed like a week, like
missed only 1 week. Scared about the stock, and then I helped elevate her because remember, I recently been launched a new media series called Unfiltered.
Yeah,
it's where I ask you a bunch of questions and you get paid for it. I originally wanted to just give it all to the people who gave it to, but unfortunately the department came and said, hey, you have to get some of the money too. I'm like, I really don't want it, but okay then. Yeah. Okay, pick number 9. This is another guy we were high on, and we're glad to see him go this high too.
Yeah, this is my favorite pick of the draft.
And the big thing here was they also announced this on stream. Sink is now also the Winnipeg co-GM. First gen getting a GM job, an SHL GM job right out of the gate. That's insane.
Yeah, I remember this happening. I remember this happening in S31 when I was first drafted. It was with Wally. He became co-GM of like Portland within like days of being drafted. And it was I thought it was, at the time I was like, wow, that's insane. But it ended up being a really good move, I think. I think Wally proved himself, and I think Sink will do the exact same. I think Sink will absolutely.
I definitely think Sink, under Ace's guidance, will be a great GM.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Toronto would trade the pick to Winnipeg. And this one, I was like, how are you available at this pick?
Yeah, this was crazy.
Shores at 10 on a normal draft. Shores would probably be one of the few people discussed for number 1 overall. But her available at 10? You got to be kidding me. Getting the J commissioner with that pick?
Mm-hmm.
Easily a max earner. Easily a great person in the locker room. And as a former GM as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can't fault any of the people that went before Schwartz here because I think all those picks were good. But it is crazy that Schwartz made it.
It's 10. Crazy value at 10.
Yeah, it is pretty insane value at 10. I think Winnipeg really killed this draft, and
Winnipeg had one of the best drafts in my opinion. And then we get to the point of I thought they were going to trade this pick.
Oh yeah,
But
Luke
then
just lied to me straight up.
Luke blatantly lying to people. His good old tactic, each similar to what Eddie tried to do. But
Yeah, no,
and
this
this
was
is a
just
good
really
pick,
funny. Like
too.
I asked him if he was trading out. He went, "Yep." I was like, I just trusted that for the rest of the draft process. And he never
Whatever you
traded out.
do, if you hear something he says, do not trust what he says. This is the advice for S80. When this happens, do not trust what he said.
Yeah, but a good pick.
If you see
Good
this
pick.
man, do
Yeah,
not trust him.
yeah.
Once
Hot
again,
dog
Rich
lunch.
and Luke, please get us on there. We're willing
Hot
to
dog,
help be on
yeah.
there for the special ValWaters Rich and Luke crossover.
Mhm. I remember Hot Dog Lunch being a lot bigger of a name in the J draft than this time around. They really went under the radar. So for them to go first round, like that was like nobody was talking about Hot Dog Lunch as a first round pick. So this is like I think this is really, really, shows the faith that New England had that they kept the pick instead of trading it, because they could have traded it. Obviously, Luke was bullshitting me, but they could have traded it. They had plenty of options to trade, I'm sure. And they decided to keep it in draft Hot Dog Lunch. And I think that proves like they liked what they saw here, and I think it'll go well.
If it picked 12, I thought those Blues, but then I had one dirty question to say. How in the fuck did Windu fall to this pick? How?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess people didn't really value Windu as much as we did. I think Windu was the best. I mean, I would say, I have my biases with Sync. I think Sync is a really, really great new gen. I still think Windu is the number one new
Because
gen.
to me, the top three first gens, in my opinion, are, Sync, Windu, and Yeti, and then Aura.
Yeah. And Yeti, I mean, here's a little bit where the disconnect happens for me is that you the assumption would be that you don't draft Windu earlier because you don't feel like he's a great locker room guy, or for example, maybe he's not the chattiest guy, which I don't think is the case. I think he's pretty chatty. He's chatty enough, and he does great media pieces, and he clearly cares about the league so far. But not only that, then you go and don't pick the chattiest first gen until pick 30, right?
Yeah,
Like
which is
in Yeti,
absolutely insane.
right? I don't know. This one really confused me. It really confused me that Windu made it to 12. In the same way that it really confused me that Yeti went to 30. We'll talk about that later, but that's really just mind-boggling to me. Yeah. Yeah.
Pick 13 here, another person I thought they were going 8, but they're somehow here?
Well, they thought they were going 8. They said that 8 was their floor, and it turned out not to be their floor.
Valpix literally said that she thought she was going 8, but then I see her at 13, I'm like, Buffalo got a steal.
And Buffalo did something really, really interesting here because they had already decided that Fanto was going to be the co beforehand.
Yeah.
They
They told me
gonna
that it was
they
either going to
saw,
be me or Fanto. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in the final 2 apparently, but
yeah, and they saw ValPix on the board and went, you know what? We'll just trade for him later and we'll pick up ValPix, which I really like. I think that's a really good move for Buffalo. I think they profited from that for sure.
And then we go to pick 14. New Orleans you would think this would be me here. Minnesota trades up. You would think this would be me as well. But surprise, it's not me.
Yeah, I mean, I think Eddie saw crazy value here. Jason is a top 5 TP earner in the class. I think he was like 3rd, right? And
Yeah, I
people
think
were
he's third
not.
behind me and Juke.
Yeah, so he saw that and he was like, all right, I'm gonna pick Jason here. I don't know why he didn't go you. Even if I did, I don't know if I'd talk about it.
I mean, the whole face this would have been probably the greatest inside job in history. I literally even prematurely made a graphic for it, but
it's a good graphic.
I mean, I did make a good one for where I eventually end up.
Yeah.
So pick 15, we'll just skip over this. We already knew this was gonna happen.
Mm. Yeah, it's pretty slam dunk.
Hot
easy.
dog is way, 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 way too predictable.
That's that. There's nothing wrong with predictability as a GM. You just got to make the right moves.
And then we come to here, pick 17. Now, this is where things get interesting. Winnipeg takes Fantabins,
You skip
but
the pick.
Fantabins gets named the Buffalo Co. So as a result, Buffalo, Minnesota trades the pick to Buffalo. Already got the pick. They traded to Buffalo in exchange for, I don't know who the player was, but the trade's up somewhere.
What? Yeah, it was 20 was traded for I don't know how you pronounce this. It was Johnny Patty. It was to Minnesota.
It's for Patey, yeah, Johnny Patey. That's
Patty,
right.
Yeah, Johnny Patey, Minnesota.
And then this pick goes to Winnipeg in exchange for Fantabins.
Yeah.
But so more on Fantabins. Let me just say this real quick. We warned you were going round 1. You ignored us for the longest time.
Oh, I think he figured it out when he was named co-GM.
Yeah, we were warning you for weeks.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean I don't know why Fantabins.
How does that happen?
I think Fantabins.
Oh, by the way, we got to recap the trade that happened for 18. So New Orleans trades down 4, gets a second-round pick, and then the first pick, you knew it was going to be me. I knew it was me the moment Minnesota took Jason.
Yeah, I think Nola's pretty happy with this.
Yeah, I about to say. You knew Joe literally went in my DMs before the whole draft and said, like, you got to be here for life? I said yes. Hopefully that stands. Because whatever you do, Joe, do not trade me. If I find out you trade me, it's not going to end well. It's because you don't want the rattlesnake side of me. That's hard to deal with.
Let's go back real quick because we never talked about 16.
16. I'm at 16. Oh, yeah, we skipped over that. Well, good to see that we helped Blix change their mind successfully. They successfully redid their deep dive. And it was good enough for them to max earn again and get drafted by Edmonton.
Yeah, Edmonton, I mean, just objectively got a steal here. I think, Blix would have probably gone a lot earlier if it wasn't for the retirement scare.
We saved him from retiring.
Yeah, and so Edmonton is another, of course, huge winner in this draft, and because now they have we haven't even gone to the later parts of the draft, but they already have Juke, they have Ara, and they have Blix. Those are like 3.
That's insane value.
Yeah, it is insane value.
So let's go back to me here because it's pretty obvious that they view me as like face of the franchise. I'm already now being added to their war room. I'm basically the head of the scouting department now.
Nice. It's huge.
Pretty fitting because I do these podcasts and they're like, you know what? Let's give Ballard the scouting guy role. Like, because you ready to hear this joke? I'm pretty sure Joe views me as his sibling, like kid or like pupil or something.
Interesting.
Legitimately, he views me as that.
I don't know what to say about that.
Yes. Weird story, but it's true. You ask him, he's going to probably try to deny it. Let's just say that I said it here on the podcast. The secret's out.
Joe's your dad.
Okay, pick 19 we got here. And we correctly guessed this one.
We did.
Yoshir at 19 we knew this was perfect value for Tampa, and we just...
Yeah. It sucks. Well, actually, no, wait. It is T-Bay to T-Bay. Isn't that beautiful, right? Thunder Bay to Tampa Bay.
Thunder Bay to Tampa Bay.
The pipeline has begun. T-Bay to T-Bay.
I mean, also, Minnesota not beating the SHL Great Falls accusations with your pick because they built that pipeline even further.
Yeah. And if I have anything to do with it, that pipeline is going to get stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we conclude the first round with Biggins Kootenatty, who still great pick. Winnipeg's pretty much with a pretty good balance of first gens and
Yeah.
recreates. I think Ace
Technically-
killed this draft.
Oh, for sure. Technically, Winnipeg drafted three of the Malamutes, the big rookie class. I mean, obviously, he traded Fantabins.
Yeah, it's pretty much a joke. It says like not being the Yukon SHL Yukon accusations, but
Yeah.
oh yeah, it kind of makes sense because Ace before they were Yukon, they were called the Anaheim Outlaws, and Ace was the GM there. He was actually the first GM I had.
But yeah, I mean, UConn produced a ton of talent in this first round, and Biggins, obviously the first overall pick in the SMJHL draft. He fell a little bit behind, but still went first round. We love that for him. Love Biggins.
And then we go to the second round. Oh my goodness, a lot of surprises here.
Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't watch the second round, and then I look at the Minnesota Discord. We'll get to this later, but I look at the Minnesota Discord. I see Blues. I'm like, what? How does that even happen?
I see guys Blues jumps. I was like, what the fuck? How?
I don't know how that happens, but
And then I look at the NOLA locker room, and then I see both Nordic and Gray Pen in there. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
Joe,
wild.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah, wild.
How is Nordic available in the second round? How?
I'm not sure. I really am not sure.
And then you got Lumosity, Hamilton gets a steal there, Zetvins, Rengoku even going there, Simmer, Yeti ties at 30. Tell me, just tell me, how is Yeti available at 30?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. This isn't something I'm going to struggle with because, like, I don't want to put anybody else down, but especially when we're getting into the early second round, there are names here that I really like. I don't know much about them, and they might be like great locker room guys in juniors, but it's to me with what I know and with what I've seen, Yeti should be top 10 easily. And 30th is just kind of just insane. And the fact that he went to Edmonton too, who now it's after their insane first round just adds Evok and Yeti, right? Like what?
Yes. I'm like, okay, Edmonton, they're just cheating at this point.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I'm pretty sure they still have 4 first-round picks next season. So they could very well add somebody like Wally or Kenny or Keneto next draft, who are both great users.
Yeah, I don't even know what you do. Like at some point, you're gonna have to start like actually trading players because
at this point, like my thing is of Nola. If I'm somehow get out early in the playoffs, I'm looking to hopefully take a Wally or a Keneto because those two automatically top of my board.
Absolutely, for sure. And yeah, the S80 class is looking really interesting. I think our class. I mean, obviously, there's still time for S80, but I think our class looks a lot stronger, a lot deeper right now. But we'll see how S80.
It's going to take some time, but S80 has already got a good amount of great recreates. I see Wally, I see Keneto.
Yeah. But yeah, Rengoku, I think this is somebody that could have, if they wanted to, they could have drafted him 3rd overall. So I think the fact that they got him 21st is huge value. As Calgary managing to get somehow they had the Manhattan Rage logo on the draft board, but they
take a look. 33. Who's edited this? Frenchie, my guy. I know that keeping track of logos is hard.
Yeah, the Dragons copied the Rage logo. It's fucked up. It's not
I'm about to say, what is this, imposter syndrome?
But yeah, I mean, Calgary managing to pick up Zach with like what I think this is like their only top 2 round pick or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
No, they're only picking the top 2 rounds. They might have 3rd round picks. But yeah.
But then a look here. Pick 40. McGritty goes to 40. I thought there was a good chance because of a recent incident that he potentially would go undrafted.
No,
but
that would have been insane.
I'm glad he did not. I am legit glad that he found a home in Toronto.
I don't think he was ever going to go undrafted. I mean, this is still somebody who's active, and it was a mistake. It happens.
I mean, let's take a look at some other guys who fell here, who got value.
Gaby D, it's crazy that he went.
Joester falling to Nola, Micro Wallfire, Micro this late. That's just not fair.
I mean,
also, look, Castor going this late too. That's crazy. We also got New Orleans is trying to build the Great Falls pipeline as well because they took Joester as well.
Yeah. Somebody I want to shout out here. Speaking of the Dragons,
absolutely insane.
Speaking of the Dragons, Josie Cass, I'm pretty sure has max earned for the amount of time they've been in the league, which is they joined very, very late. But I think they could have gone a lot earlier. Symmetric talked about Josie Cass as being somebody that he would have considered putting in the first round. So to get them at 53. Also, can we I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Montreal has too many prospects and all this stuff, but passing before Gaby D, for example, who is straight up just
passing over guys like Gaby or Micro. Come on, I mean, God.
These are just max earners. So I'm not really sure what the fuck happened there. I don't understand why you would pass on a max earner.
I don't want to roast other teams because they're all going to look at me like, oh no, that was going to use this podcast to burn other teams. Don't worry.
I love what Montreal did with the 2 picks that they did use.
I mean, we like what you did with your picks, but the late rounds, what the hell are you doing?
The rage pit passing on 2 round 3 picks when they could have gotten a ton of value there. I don't know. I think that's pretty nuts. If
I look here with other guys,
I mean, what?
And that pretty much does it.
But I mean, let's even Keibel, why? I mean, listen, Keibel is not a max earner, but Keibel is probably they were probably 260, 270 at the draft or something like that, if I had to guess. That's somebody you draft. But almost every team passed on him, including Eddie, by the way. Eddie, come on, pick fucking Keibel, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, Boom's pretty much licking her chops right now. Feeling so glad that she got Keibel at that late. Also, nice pick. Look at the number.
Yeah, nice. Very true.
I had to do it. I had to do it.
But yeah, I mean, so this is we talked about how deep this draft is going to be. Ended up, max earners going in the 3rd round, like Gaby D, Josie Cass. That's wild. But I think the things to me, teams I really will go in on this. I don't want to make enemies out of anybody, but I will go in on this. Teams passing on max earners, it just shows me you didn't feel like scouting, and I don't know.
That screams loser mentality.
Yeah, I'm upset about that because I know these guys are people that I've interacted with, and to see people decide I'm not going to pick a player over going for them.
We're not going to keep name dropping like we did earlier, but let's be honest here. Let's go into some grades for teams. So, out of the teams we had, which teams do you think had the best drafts? 3 teams come to mind. No, 4 actually. So the obvious 2 winners are Winnipeg and Edmonton. I'd say Calgary and New Orleans as well had great drafts.
Well, Calgary, for what they had, I agree, but obviously their first pick was in the 2nd round, so it's hard for them to get
Evan, New Orleans, very good with the trade down. It works out perfectly.
Yeah. Objectively, TPE-wise, Minnesota killed this draft.
Minnesota had a great one, too. When you get guys like Blues, Jason, and you.
Yeah. That's just a great. We got a 1,300 TPE S74 defenseman out of trading number 20. So this is just a good draft for us.
You got Patey as well from a trade. Minnesota handled this draft quite well.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean the teams that had the most picks, like Edmonton and Winnipeg in the first rounds, obviously make out of this draft like bandits because this is just a deep draft, and having as many picks as you can was always going to be the best thing you could do. And they started with a lot of picks, but then they went and got more picks, and they invested and they kept, they compounded what they had, which I thought was really, really smart of those teams. And yeah, I think they definitely are the two top teams, I would say. I think Nola had a really strong draft. I think Philly had a really strong draft. They got Windu and Marsh. They only have 2
and they got Marsh at 42, which I think is also
that's great value. We didn't talk about that while we were going over the second round. That's really strong value at 32.
Anyway.
Montreal, I am upset with them for passing in the third, but their first 2 picks were very, very good.
Yeah, I'm about to say. So we'll cut you some slack there. You did very well in the early rounds.
Yeah, the first 2 picks were very, very strong. Yeah. Anyways, I've said my piece on that.
Yeah. All right. So before we get into questions, I'm bringing up another topic here. We've had a lot of GM spots. We've obviously talked about Winnipeg and Buffalo being the main 2, but they're not the only ones that have been hiring recently. We go on the job postings here, and we had 2 new openings literally within minutes of each other. San Francisco and Hamilton.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of openings. I mean, Hamilton, the succession plan has been in place for a while, so I don't.
Yeah, Hamilton has already pretty much passed the torch.
Yeah, I don't know about the Pride though. I don't know if they had something in mind.
If they had something, it could very well be Bad Wolf taking over full time.
That seems like it's probably going to be the case. So I think the Pride end up doing very well. And I'm really happy with the co-GM picks that ended up coming out of this draft.
Yeah, they both came out of this draft. Like I even said, I had a feeling at least one was going to be somebody in the draft.
No, I mean, for some reason, I don't know why this is, but people don't want to be GM anymore, and that's fine. But I'm really glad that this draft has taken on the mantle of being ambitious and wanting to be GMs, and the GMs that are drafting them recognize that ambition and are harnessing it, and I think that's really, really cool.
Even myself, even though I didn't get a spot, I'm getting some GM power essentially on my team for running scouting and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm involved in Minnesota. I'm sure a lot of people who are in this draft are going to get super involved in management very soon. And so I think that's really cool. I think we're going to be a really game-changing class. So I'm excited for that.
Okay, so after this, you know what we're going to do beforehand? IHF has been going on. Let's take a look at that.
Come on, IHF.
Yeah, let me share my screen. Let's see what we have here. Oh my goodness. Take a look at this. Canada
having a run.
What is this? We're back in the S50s when it was basically Hamilton light.
I'm excited to see Quebec in there.
Quebec's doing decently too. They're doing well.
Yeah, Japan.
And the other teams.
We lost almost all our best players to retirement last.
Yeah, for example, myself and Wildfire.
And that's fresh. I think was on.
And that's fresh. I mean, but look at the surprise. Look who's on the bottom.
Yeah, U.S. having
U.S. and Great Britain for a while. They were both powerhouse teams. Finland's on the bottom too. That's another surprise.
Yeah, and look at the teams at the top in the top 4. Right, these are. I mean, Canada.
France has really turned it around.
Norway. Switzerland, France, Norway are not teams that people are generally creating for on their new gens, right? So this is
to see those teams near the top is a great sign that parity is in the IHF finally for the first time in years.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you got the two top ones, Ireland and Japan, who were in the finals, they're both have been completely mid.
Yeah. Japan. We know what happened in Japan. I don't know if Ireland might have gone through the same kind of thing, but yeah, parity's definitely is good, which is always gonna be the main concern with IHF is parity, because teams like Canada and the US are going to get all the creates, the new gen creates. So we want to make sure that all these teams are strong, and
that's why they have the transfers existing, so they can have smaller federations the chance to grab those players and develop them.
Yeah, which is great to see.
Okay, so we're now going to switch back here. No, we're going to switch to the questions now. Let's see how long we've been doing this for. 40 minutes? Yeah, we have enough time. Okay, so this is a guy, so fittingly, we missed some because they came in the middle recording. So first up, they're from Gaby D here. So they ask, "What's your favorite hockey player in real life?" Oof.
What's yours, Valor? Who's yours?
I grew up a Capitals fan my whole life.
Yeah, I would assume.
It's got to be Ovechkin. I've been lucky to see him play live multiple times. Sadly, he's never scored when I'm there, but definitely one of the greatest players of all time, if not one, because there's a good chance he breaks Gretzky's record this season.
No, for sure. Absolute legend. One of the, probably the best goal scorer of all time. At least, pure goal scorer.
Right. What about you?
I mean, all time it's probably Carey Price, but I want to give an active player as well. My favorite hockey player right now would probably be Cole Caulfield. I think he kind of represents how the Habs are really cool now, and I'm a fan of him. I like him. So
it's not surprised you said those two names. Both great players for your team for the Habs. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Non-Habs, you know what? I'll give you a non-Habs answer as well. It would probably be Crosby. Crosby was my favorite player growing up.
I mean, I could understand him, but I kind of have a little bit of a hate because I'm a Capitals fan by default. But I do recognize he's a great player. He's probably also my favorite non-Caps player as well.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Okay, Gritty with the most questionable thing I've seen in a bit. This is pure, the first two questions are brain rot. Let's face it.
You're brain rot, yeah.
It's pure brain rot.
And it's not even good. It's not even 2024 brain rot. It's like 2016 brain rot.
It's 2016. Good Lord. Are you stuck in 2016?
What does the Fox say? I was in I was 14? That's a thing.
What the hell? You're 2016? I was only 13 at the time. What the hell?
Yeah. No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But I'll answer the favorite name for the draft one. My favorite name for the draft, I think I actually like Gritty's. I like Gritty's player name. Oh, I like McCool is good.
The Miko meme, I love that. I do love
that name a lot. Other than that, I think all the Yukon guys have great names.
I mean,
that's a premium.
Lumbermouth is a great name, but I gotta say, I love the whole family aspect in the SHL, which is why I love Aileris's name so much.
Yeah.
I love it when players do that. It's fun. It's good, harmless fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of really, really cool names.
Yeah. So, all right, that's for
so we answered one of the questions. We did it.
Do we want to answer the brain rot?
No, I don't want to.
Yeah, we're not answering that. Sorry, McGrady. Please, new rule. Please do not post brain rot here. I mean, I've seen plenty of brain rot from VTuber stuff, so do not ask me about that. I will send you down a horrible rabbit hole.
I want some 2024 brain rot. I want some fresh brain rot. I don't want brain rot from a decade ago.
Okay, next one. That was basically me saying that. And Well, look who's back.
He's back. I'm pretty neutral on the North Stars.
North Stars, I actually played there for a little bit. But the big problem was the season I actually scored 59 goals. I wanted to test free agency. And guess what happened? Wally said, get out.
Ah.
I got shown the door. Look, we have forgiven each other for this, by the way. When he came back, I get in the presser and said that we're both on good terms again, which is great. Because, oh yeah, Wally, if you're somehow listening, I'm going to find a way to draft you, get you to NOLA, so you better be on the lookout.
Okay, well, don't speak too soon, because I might do the same thing. So think about that, Wally.
Yeah, just let you know, NOLA and Minnesota are both watching you with great interest.
Yeah, I mean,
but I don't like the people in the organization. It's a good group.
Yeah, I don't really know anybody in the North Stars.
I mean, I've known Grids for a bit. JPC, I've only known him for a little bit when he was in Texas. Before Texas probably booted me from their locker room because of a small incident that I'm not going to mention. But
you're just getting kicked out of everywhere.
I don't know why people are scared of me.
You're such a bad boy. What are you doing?
They think I'm a bad person when I'm not.
I don't think so either.
I mean, if it was 4 years ago, I would have been a big son of a bitch because I was young and didn't know what I was doing.
Fair enough. Times have changed.
Times have changed, and even Joe says he's watched my growth a lot, and it's pretty good.
We love that.
Okay, next one. Well. Isn't it one of the few people that we've helped elevate? It is indeed Aura.
I think, I mean, the question is, who would you say was the most surprising draft pick for both you and Waters?
I'd say Yeti at 30. What the heck?
Well, there's that. I was going to say Aura is one of them for sure.
Aura going 8, which I saw it happen and my mouth legitimately dropped. I was like,
it was nuts.
Holy shit, we elevated her successfully.
Yeah, I'll say like 3 risers that really surprised me was obviously GMs, Aura, and I'll put in who's my third one? Let me think.
I would say Sync is a good one that rose pretty much.
Yeah, but that was surprising to me. I kind of felt like that was going to happen because I really did believe in him.
But then when I heard the part also said Winnipeg co-GM, my mouth dropped again.
That surprised me, but I think
I'm like, whoa, holy
well deserved. Yeah. And then the droppers, it's kind of tough because at the same time, like, if I were taking each individual person that I think went too far down and saying, oh, they're a top 10 pick, but like also who am I kicking out of the top 10? You know what I mean? Like, obviously you can't have everybody go high, but yeah, Yeti is insane. They fell to 30. I really don't get
like Yeti, Blues managing to get to you guys that late.
Nuts. Blues 31 is insane.
Nordic going to NOLA that late too. That's another one.
Yeah. That's I mean, like some of the names that ended up in this like late second round are just ridiculous. You know, like Marsh. I think any other draft goes like top 12, top 13 easily. Right. And you see him at 32, and it's just like, yeah. I mean, this draft is just nuts.
Insane. Anyway, next question. Oh, what do you know? It's one of the old reliables from NOLA, Huck, who recently is the man behind Autoline, who's back with Autoline the 4th on NOLA. How do you feel NOLA did in the draft? This is specifically aimed towards me because I begged New Orleans to give me questions, as in, like, I pinged the whole team. Because Joe gave me that power.
Yeah.
I'm essentially the third GM. Everybody knows that at this point. NOLA did very well. Yeah. You got, obviously, myself. I don't want to boast about myself, but getting myself at 18. Everybody knows that Joe will not pass up a good opportunity to take me because he knows I'm an old reliable. then Nordic in the second round, and then Grapehead for another trade, which helps sets up a goalie pipeline for when Lodge eventually hangs it up, who's Uptown Cord, by the way.
Yeah.
Not to mention two other guys in the third round, Joester and somebody else that have both been earning quite well.
No, I mean it was a pretty.
No one's taking a lot of value out of the late picks again. Just Joe knows his research. And he apparently didn't scout to the last minute as well.
Nice, still killed it. Good job, Joe.
Yeah.
Love a good Joe.
Next one, and another Huck question.
Thanks, Huck.
Yeah, thank you, buddy, for your questions.
Hey,
what goals do you have for your player in the J in the SHL? The thing is with the J, I really don't care. Is that I've already won a cup with my previous player in the J, the S61 Super Team Whalers.
But like you care a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean maybe a little bit, maybe an award or two, maybe another cup.
You know, I would Grizzly solidarity. I think we care.
Yeah, because if somebody says nobody cares about the J, I'm gonna kindly tell you to go outside and touch some grass.
Real. Yeah, I mean, my goal for my players on both fronts is to just win everything I can win. So, yeah. I mean, my answer is very simple here. I just want to win, and I want to get individual awards where I can. But I want to have a legacy on this site.
Yes, I mean, I already kind of have a legacy because the whole first player saga is just an insane story. From not getting drafted, having a partnership with a person who's no longer alive, to dealing with the whole bollocks of Mike Izzy, to constantly being traded, to winning a goal scoring trophy one year, then getting traded the next. And then pretty much having someone who, right now, there's a good chance I'm probably in Hall of Fame. I mean, there's a good chance I could nepotistically get in because I do the banners.
Yeah, that's a movie right there. If they made an SHL movie, it'd be about that player for sure. Everybody knows that.
I would love for them to film a documentary about all the people who work on the league.
That would be crazy.
That would be great. All of us get the voice. We all get to be together and just
yeah.
As in SHL goals, you know me. I want 1,000 points. I want a cup. The two things I didn't get with my previous player.
Yeah, actually, I want 1,000 points too. I mean, it should be easier now than it used to be, but
because goal scoring is way up.
Yeah, but 1,000 points sounds like a good target. I like that number.
Yeah, it sounds quite reasonable because with FHM8, your goal scoring has flourished.
Yeah,
and people are getting 60 goal seasons like it's nothing.
Yeah,
we literally had Max Carnage almost had a goal a game season, which is insane.
You can probably get 1,000 points pre-regression at this point, but still, it's a good achievement.
Right. Let's see. Any more topics you want to discuss here? Let's see what we have in the media-wise.
And I
need to update.
I'd like to do a grade, try and grade some of these teams, or at least say which teams.
Let's take a look at SHL Media and see what we got here.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of Montreal stuff. Someone recapping Edmonton. Rengoku and reviewing people. So they all follow my model. Toasty.
Yeah, Toasty's not something you talk about much.
Yeah, Tip Toasty was somebody who fell as well. You might as well bring him up now. How was Tip Toasty unavailable that way? That was another one of the people that I interviewed in my Unfiltered series.
Swag, we see an article, went third round. Third rounders are producing media. This was a Reddit.
I mean, are posting media. And we already know Swag for a while longtime member Japan, longtime Chicago member.
Yeah. No, I mean this was a Reddit level class in my opinion. I think.
Yeah, this is literally the Reddit class without the Reddit.
Yeah, this was crazy. And I really hope that this class takes over the league because I think it's only
they're slowly taking over. They took 2 co-GM spots. I even said that I'm willing to GM. If that means starting in the J, if any of you guys have any spots open, I'm willing to apply. But great, Rankle, can I have a question for you? Can I apply for these spots?
Rankle, we should let's make sure Great Falls does really well.
Does really well. So Fowler does not apply for other GM jobs if it potentially you have to move me because of that.
Yeah, that would be great. Let's do that, Rankle.
Yes. Anyway,
about Great Falls.
I want to specifically highlight this article right here. It's something that it's about NOLA. Someone did an update on the records. For those who don't know, this is Zodiac EXE. There's 2 different Zodiacs. This one. Who did an article about who did what?
Oh man.
A lot of great guys on here.
Here's some names. Nick Talks. I remember him.
Like Nick Talks. Nate Does Hockey, which is Patjev Petrov, who unfortunately has to leave the team in free agency. Not to mention the five reel, that guy who was NOLA's longtime captain before he had to leave as well. Simi sadly went inactive.
Tragic.
Yeah. If you take a look at all the stats, all the early exits.
Jesus. Chicago.
This team is legitimately cursed.
Chicago. Wow. That's a rivalry right there.
Yeah.
Chicago S69.
We're just either Chicago's Bing or Chicago or Texas's punching bag.
Oh my god, every single like from S65 to S72, their season either ended against Chicago or Winnipeg.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, that's the problem with NOLA. They've been a doormat for way, way too long. Yeah. Ever since they shockingly swept the Super Hamilton team in S54 in the Cup final.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was probably the biggest upset in Cup history. Not named Olaf Karaseko God Mode from S77. Nothing.
Yeah.
And then look at some people. Like, we've had 40-plus goal scorers. Face-off percentage. Hey, I actually hold a record.
Look at that.
Hey, I actually.
58.22%.
Pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, this is everybody's saying good stuff, and we got this guy saying good stuff as well. Also, fix your damn SIG.
Your SIG, Joe.
Joe, fix your dang SIG, or else I'm going to raid your podcast.
Yeah, this is embarrassing.
Come on, buddy. I know you wanted me to come in for a while, and I'm willing to hop in.
That's ridiculous.
Plus, I haven't heard any updates about Bailey, your dog, recently. I want to learn more.
But yeah, I mean, we can quickly wrap up. I want to talk about Great Falls for a second. I think I'm pretty excited about Great Falls.
Yeah, the Grizzlies, let's take a look at the S80 draft class and see what we have here.
Yeah. Let's go.
So let's go to the search. Let's take a look at the S80 class.
Because I feel like the balance is a little more new gen heavy this time. I'm seeing a lot more new.
Yeah, it's a lot more new gens. Like there's 6 pages worth. Let's see what you got here.
Enlightened Sunshine.
The 2 recruits, Halsey and Alex. I mean, Halsey's going to try to force their way back to Hamilton. We all know this.
Halsey, Hamilton, steel hug.
Yeah. It's like when Evox named her player QCC Bot 4.
Favorite name ever. Hamilton
I'm
steal
like,
off.
come on, man. You know what would be funny if somebody took them out of spite and then held them hostage
Well,
for
Alex
picks.
is the GM. Alex is the GM. They can't take
Alex
it.
is probably not gonna like that, and then I'm like, give me 2 first-round picks because I took.
I also like I want to do a quick shout out to Jamal Freaky. I like that name. I'm very intrigued.
That's
by
a
that.
great name.
I'm intrigued by Jamal Freaky. I can't wait to see what he does.
Yeah, let's take a look. Other people here. Any of these guys? Oh, I see Jack Kmart, and well. Probably
Wally.
the biggest. Definitely see. It's either one of us gets him or he goes first overall. There's no in between.
Oh, he goes first overall. I don't think we're getting him.
Yeah. Next tier. Oh, there's somebody I noticed. Aurora here? That's somebody I brought into the league many times. They're from the Capitals Discord.
That's fun.
They don't know I'm still here, so let's take a look. A lot of like it's mostly first gens.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot. Yeah, these are.
Yeah, it's pretty much 90% first gens, and then we see all the recreates. Let's see: Noof, Chi, Toe Jam, Salfie, Andy, and Kenny over here.
And shout out to the Latino Rocket, Jeff San 21. I don't forget. I don't forget, Jeff. I remember your nickname back in the day, the Latino Rocket. and I can't wait to see what you're gonna do with your recreate. It's gonna be a beautiful time.
Also, Jomo's in this class too. I didn't see him as well.
Yeah, no, it's a good recreate class, but we
very good recreate class.
We were better.
Yeah, but S80, you got some big shoes to fill.
Yeah,
I think that will do it for today's episode.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys want to be have an unfiltered one and you want me to ask you specific questions, hit me in my DMs. I'm always available, unless it's mostly available after 2:00 each day because I'm working. I mean, you might occasionally see me answer because I'm on a break or something, but I'm always around, always willing to help you guys out, to help get you guys over. I'm essentially a rookie mentor, but not really a rookie mentor. That's right. I'm stealing all the league jobs now.
Rookie mentors have such an advantage in this league. Can we talk about that real quick before we end the podcast?
Because they also technically have to be part of the scouting department as well.
They get to scout players for free.
You get to scout players for free. You get to know all the leaks and stuff.
It's just ridiculous. Anyways.
Yes, I know. I mean, I'm probably going to be one of the people let in because I'm apparently going to serve as their main scouting guy going forward.
I'm very happy for you on that. I hope that
I feel pretty glad that where I ended up.
I'm happy with where I ended up. I think almost everybody in this class is happy where they ended up. I hope everybody.
I'm pretty sure 99% of the class like where they ended up.
Yeah, just great. It's great that the SHL has so many great teams, so many great people. It doesn't matter where you end up; you're going to be happy. So.
Yep.
All right.
All right. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until we meet again, this is ValWaters signing off.
See you guys.